Right now, there are 12 different legendary champions you can get for free with a promo code in Raid Shadow Legends when you make a new raid account. These are special champions designed to help you clear the early game super quickly. I'm going to be showing you all of the promo codes available today in this video and ranking them so you know which ones are best and for what content. Now, if you want to just cut to the chase, I'll be honest, I think you should go for Pelops the Victor. He's a really highly rated champion that's going to help you progress through campaign really quickly. He's really good in a lot of areas of PvE, and he's really easy to build to be good in arena and pretty much any area of gameplay, especially for the early game. And if you click my link in the description or scan the QR code over there, then when you make your new raid account, you'll get Nama the Returned, who's a good support to help accompany Pelops in the early game to speed you through campaign. And then as you level up, you'll get more and more champions through my link as well. So Pelops is definitely an S-tier champ, but we're going to be going through all of the champions as well as another couple really good S-tier options if you'd rather pick somebody else. So we're going to start the list with Alice, who has been a mainstay for a long time. Alice the Wanderer, which I have used on my account to great success. And you can get Alice with the code GETALICE. Now, Alice the Wanderer, she used to be one of the best promo code champions, but they kept adding more and more and more good ones. However, I'd still rate her as an A tier. Alice is really good for doing AoE damage. She's going to clear waves really quickly and progress through the campaign super fast. Not only that, she's really good in arena and any other content which requires you to put cooldown reduction, as she can do that, which is really nice. You can see here she's good in Minotaur, she's good in Demon Lord, she's good in Dragon and most of the dungeons. She's really good, but she does struggle to be built out well. She takes a lot to build her out really good in comparison to some of the other champions on this list. So I've gone for A tier. Early game, she's not the best in terms of what you get. Now, late game, she's actually my fastest campaign farmer. Like, I have a lot of champions I could use. I have Michelangelo, I have Tholin, I have Ezio. I have a lot of good legend champions that can absolutely dominate wave clearing to campaign farm, but Alice is my fastest, so she's good. She is really good, but just in the early game, there are better choices. Now, we move on to the next one, which is Monkey King here. Sun Wukong, actually, and you can get him with the promo code Monkey King. Now remember, you only get one promo code after making a new account, and you must enter it within 24 hours. So let's talk about this guy. He's a really good arena champion, and he can do well in some other areas of content. I'd give him a good A tier. He's got a good arena aura speed, which is 28% extra speed in arena battles. So he's a really good arena champ. His passive's really cool. After every 3 turns, he'll just revive with 100% HP and 100% turn meter. This is really good in any area of content because you don't need somebody to revive him. You can build him just with a lot of damage, and he will just keep reviving. He's got some good AoE attacks. He's got a stun as well, and he can sheep enemies, turning them into sheep, which makes them unable to do much for a few turns. He's pretty good, but he just falls flat when it comes to campaign farming in the early game. Really good arena champ. So if you want a good attack champion in arena, he is very good, but he's definitely not the best choice out there. Next, we've got an S-tier choice in the Barbarian faction. This is what most people will go for, Tuhanarak. You have 2 choices. You either get a starter link with an attack champion and then choose Tuhanarak, or you use a starter link with a support champion and go Pelops. I personally think the Pelops choice is easier for most players. That's why I've got Nama on my link, so you can get Nama for free by using my link and get Pelops with the code Super Victory. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But there is no denying Tuhanarak is an amazing support if paired with a good attack champion in the early game. And to get Tuhanarak, you need to use the code Desert Queen. So that will get you Tuhanarak, and she is really good. Let's talk about her now. Tuhanarak's really powerful for a number of reasons. First, she puts a continuous heal buff on your teammates, which is really good to help you speed through the campaign, especially those later stages in Brutal and Nightmare. And she continuously removes debuffs. Every turn, she'll remove 2 debuffs if they've got the continuous heal buff active. She also decreases speed of the enemies and increases speed and defense of your allies. So a really good support champion that's going to make speeding through campaign super, super easy. Next, we have Ultimate Death Knight. He is quite a legend in the arena scene. He used to be the best arena champion, honestly, but the meta has changed. So, whilst he is good, I'm going to give him a B tier. I just think that there are better choices out there. He does have 2 passives, and he's basically like a really strong champ that always stays alive and keeps you in the game in arena. And that's great. Arena's an important part to progress through the game. But he struggles to do well in other areas. Like he's got a provoke debuff, he's got a decrease attack and a fear debuff and a shield and continuous heal buff. But like he's not very good in other areas of content in the early game until he's built out, in my opinion, in comparison to some of the other choices on this list. So if you want to be like an arena champ and just push out arena like crazy, go for it. He's cool, but he's going to struggle a little bit in comparison to like Pelops or a couple other choices on this list for clearing the early game. Up next, we have another S-tier champion, Pelops the Victor. You can get him with the code SUPERVICTORY. He is my favorite starter champion right now. He just speeds through campaign and the early game content, and he's not bad in arena and dungeon content as well. Let's take a look through his stat. So his A1 is going to decrease attack on enemies, and it's also unblockable or not able to be resisted if he puts people under a HP burn. And guess what? Whenever someone attacks Pelop, there's a 100% chance they get a HP burn for 2 turns, which is really, really crazy. You can also place a stun buff and just pour out tons of damage because of these stacking debuffs going onto enemies. It's also got a decent amount of support power here as well. You can put an increased attack buff and a magma shield buff on all allies, which is pretty cool. And overall, he's just really easy to build into a absolute campaign farmer early game, thanks to all of these debuffs, which don't require any sort of accuracy or anything, right? This passive, if someone attacks him, they get HP burned. And then his A1 debuff, the decrease attack, cannot be resisted, which is really cool. Easy to build out, really good in early game content because of that. Next, we have Turvold, a legendary void attack champion. You might think, okay, that's great, but like he was good, but things have just changed, and you can even see by the ratings, he just struggles right now. Firstly, he doesn't really have like a good AoE attack, which is a big problem if you want to use him as your campaign clearer. He's just a C tier, unfortunately, because he just doesn't output enough damage. He doesn't excel well enough in the early game content to make him even worth using over any of the other choices in this video. Then we've got Razelvarg, which you can get with the code GOFAST. I would put Razelvarg in B tier. He's okay. He's pretty decent. Like, he's good in a lot of areas of PvE content, and he's pretty good in early game stuff. He's got an ally speed aura of 20% in all battles, which is pretty awesome. Early game, it can be a little bit hard to get hold of some good speed gear, and this gets over that hiccup very nicely. And he does deal a little bit of decent damage. He's got a multi-attack on his A1, which is really, really cool. He's got an AO1 and a leech debuff on his A2, and he can also get an AOE on his A3 with an increased speed and increased accuracy buff for all of his allies. And his passive allows him to get more and more speed over time. So he's a really fast champion that you can build without having to worry about what gear you roll into early game. So if you ever have bad luck and you just feel like, oh, I just don't have the gear to clear Brutal or Nightmare, you can do it because you don't need the gear because of the speed. So he's a good choice. It kind of falls off a little bit after that, though, and I think the other choices like Pelops end up being better for dealing good amounts of damage. And then we've got Cheshire Cat with the promo code KITTYCUT. This is an A-tier champ, a pretty good attack champion. Once again, we've got an ally speed aura here, and that's going to help you for a lot of content for like the entirety of your account. The passive is pretty interesting. If you're in a veil, then you can block damage, and your attacks will ignore defense, which is quite nice. And if you probably would have guessed at this point, yes, Cheshire Cat can go into Perfect Veil with his A1, so that's nice. He's going to be in Perfect Veil a lot of the time. And also, the A2 is a multi-hit attack, and each hit will increase the enemy's speed, and that stacks up to 10%, which is really quite useful in arena and a lot of other areas of like wave clearing. It doesn't work on bosses, but it does work on waves. And then there's an AoE as well, and an increased attack built into the same skill. And what's really interesting about Cheshire Cat is that the damage is based on attack and speed. So you've got a speed aura. You can build out speed and attack and get some pretty good damage across the board, which is quite nice. And as you can see, Cheshire Cat's really good in a lot of areas of content. Next, we've got Green Warden Ruarc with the code Treehugger. I've put this guy in D tier. Like, he's actually a pretty good champion, but you need to build him up really well. And he's sort of more suitable for end game. He's got a taunt and an increased defense and strengthen buff on his A3. He can transfer debuffs from himself to the enemy, so he's quite good. And AoE as well on the A2. And the passive, which is really what makes his kit good, is that whenever an ally loses 10% or more of their match XP from a single hit, that ally will get a shield buff for 2 turns equal to 10% of their max HP. But that's really going to be useful in sort of end game content where you're taking a lot of damage, say like Nightmare, Clan Boss or something, or maybe like Hard Dragon. This early game is just not very good, unfortunately, and there's so many better choices. Then we got Sicia Flametongue with the code Firestorm, a B tier champ, pretty decent all round, very good in Spider. So if for whatever reason you want to do Spider content, then you can. A lot of HP burns going on, a lot of sort of AoE attacks and multi-hits, and works really well with Cardial if you somehow get lucky to get Cardial, but you probably won't because he's a Void Legendary. I have Cardial on my main account, so I wouldn't mind getting Sicia. But yeah, HP burn champ that does a decent amount of damage, both AoE and multi-hit, so good for all of the dungeon content, but she's not going to clear early game campaign as quickly as Pelops would, in my honest opinion. So yeah, like I say, okay, but there are better choices. And then we have Grand Oak Padraig, who's new with the code Wrath. This is an S tier champ without even arguing. Really good champion. If you can get a good attack starter champ with a download link, then you can get Grand Oak Padraig. For example, I think Vulcan does a Tholin starter link, so that could be good to use with him. If you can get a good attack champ as your starter, then you've got a really strong support champion. Firstly, ally speed in dungeons is increased by 25%, which is pretty cool. And look at this at the passive. At the start of this champion's turn, places a buff on each ally for 1 turn, depending on their type. So attack champions get attack buff increase, defense get an increased strength, support get increased accuracy, and HP get a shield buff. So really cool. We've got a turn meter filler, increased speed. We've also got a 25% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random ally's attack on the A1, and a team-up attack with continuous heal on A2. So really good champion that's just really good at supporting the rest of your team do what they do best. So there it is. That's the full list. And I would say the 3 S-tier champions are Grand Oak Padraig, which you can get with the code Wrath. We then, of course, have in the Barbarians faction, Tuhanarak with the code Desert Queen. And then we also have Argonites. Pelops, I think, is an easier choice to go for. I think he's the easiest of the 3, especially if you're not super experienced in Raid. I would still rate him as the highest choice, along with my link in the description. But if not, you could use somebody else's link and go for Grand Oak Padraig, or maybe Tuhanarak with an attack champion as a starter. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the comments. Cheerio!